Hello, world. Bruce Naylor here. How are you? I wanted to share a story with you. Well, you ever heard the expression, no good deed goes unpunished? Well, I want to share a little story with you. My mother, 74 years old, she's a shut in, pretty bad shape physically. Ever since my dad died about 10 years ago, I've been doing my level best to convince her that she needed a computer and to get on the internet. This ought to be good for her, browsing the web and maybe even teaching her how to, do Skype video chats. So, and another important thing to know is my mom lives about 100 miles away from me. So last Saturday, we made arrangements to come to Kokomo, that's where she lives, and help her purchase a computer or a tablet, whatever she preferred, get it set up, get it on the internet, and teach her how to use it. Probably wasn't the smartest idea, really. Anyhow, we made sure that she had Comcast come down and install a wireless router for her, Xfinity broadband. So we get down there, we make the drive 2 hours. We get there about noon. Figure this whole thing is only going to take, we should be done by 5 or 6 in the early evening, late afternoon, somewhere around there. We get down there. I have my iPhone. My wife brings her MacBook Pro. I make sure that the wireless networking is working. I connect to it with the iPhone. I connect to it with my wife's laptop. We're golden. Get mom out to Best Buy. She originally wanted to go to Walmart. It's like, oh, please, dear God, no, not Walmart. But she had, she didn't want to deal with mail order and anything like that. So, and she has a limited budget. Being a senior citizen, she is on a fixed income, and she had a budget of around $500 to work with. So the first thing I did is I took her over and showed her an iPad. And she was pretty convinced that even the large iPad would be too hard for her to see with her eyesight. So that left a laptop and not a desktop machine, because she wants to be able to take her computer into the living room or in the kitchen where she spends a lot of time during the day, or to the bedroom at night. So we start looking around, and she finally spots a Asus Ultrabook for $499 that she likes. Got Windows 8.1 or Windows 8.1. It's got Windows 8 on it, and it's got a touchscreen. Now here's something that's kind of funny. The salesman is standing beside me. Mom is looking at this thing, and we're saying, "Look, Mom, you can touch the screen, do that." But she goes, well, I thought that was supposed to be on, because now I want you to understand this about my mom. She's never owned a computer, smartphone, anything. My mom is a 20th century lady that we're bringing into the 21st century. And since she's seen tablets first, she goes, well, this kind of works something like that iPad. But yeah, it's different. Well, yeah. Well, how come they would put the iPad stuff on a laptop computer? Why do I need it on a laptop computer? Now, both me and the sales guy had to look at each other and go, man, we're not really sure. We're not sure what they were thinking. Why put it? But it's for a tablet. No, it can also run on a laptop. This confused her to no end. But my plan was to put Classic Shell on it, download once we got it home, get it set up, install Classic Shell on this machine, and she wouldn't even have to mess with any of the Metro, Modern UI, whatever the heck Microsoft is calling this thing this day and age. So we get it back to her house, this Asus Ultrabook that was $499, had a Core i3, 4 gigs of memory, 500 gig hard drive, but a touchscreen, and it was a 14-inch display. Get it to her house, and it would not connect to her wireless network. Now, I do know my way around wireless networking. This thing would not connect no matter what we did. So the clock is ticking, because we have to leave at about 6 o'clock in the evening, and it's now 3 o'clock in the afternoon. So the first thing I did is I called Comcast. I thought maybe there's some type of something I'm not aware of. Got a hold of Xfinity. And their response was, well, your phone connected to it, your MacBook connected to it. It's working, so we did our thing. Well, yeah. He goes, well, what's the operating system on this laptop? It says Windows 8. Get this. It's a true story. I'm not making this up. The account, or what do you call himself, an account manager, a tech guy goes, "Oh, we don't have anything on Windows 8. Hold the phone. You mean to tell me you've not hooked up a Windows 8 computer to your Xfinity wireless broadband service?" Nope. I knew I was a goner right at that point. These guys were no point talking to them. So this led me to a call to Geek Squad. That's the folks at Best Buy. And I think there might be something wrong with this laptop. Their solution was for me to update the firmware on the Comcast router, because it's probably a firmware issue on the router versus a problem with the laptop. I'm going, well, I don't know about that. It seems to work fine with my phone and my MacBook Pro. Now, nowhere in the manual on this laptop, and I mean nowhere, could we find a technical support phone number for Asus. Nowhere. Fortunately, because my wife's MacBook Pro was connected to the wireless network, we could browse the web and finally track down an 800 number for Asus technical support. Here was their solution. Now, mind you, the clock's ticking. This is being put on hold, being transferred around. Reboot the computer. No kidding, I already did that. Do this. Go ahead and let's reinstall Windows. I said, are you kidding me? This is a brand new laptop. There's no date on it. We just started this thing. No, I really think you need to reinstall Windows on this computer. Reinstall Windows. That's going to take several hours to do this. By now, it is going on 5:30, and my mother is pissed. I mean pissed. She wasn't exactly convinced that this internet thing was going to be good anyway. Now she is livid. Well, how long can you stay? I won't even know what to do. So we call back at the Best Buy. Here's their answer. It says, bring the laptop back. We'll exchange it for another one. We'll make sure it connects to our network. And if it does, then the problem is something's wrong with the wireless network back at your house. Mother would have no part of it. I mean, none. We had to take her back with the laptop. She got a refund, and she had her internet service shut off the very next day. Now, here's the game plan. We're going to go back in about 4 weeks, and we're going to try it again. Only this time, we're going to bring a Windows laptop just to make sure that there's not a problem there. Who knows what the problem could be, but I'm pretty doggone sure that Asus doesn't know what they're talking about by a reinstall of Windows. I know damn good and well that Comcast doesn't know what they're talking about. How can you possibly never, ever hook up a Windows 8 machine to one of your wireless routers? Unbelievable. And Best Buy, well, they were great about refunding back mom her money, but the idea of updating the firmware on a wireless router that was put in 3 days before, I don't know. I tell you what, it got me to thinking it is a sad state of affairs out there. You know, if my mom took this adventure on her own, she would have just turned around and walked away and not bought anything to begin with. I just can't believe that with all the advances we've made, that laptop shouldn't have just immediately connected and went about its business with no problem. It's bad enough trying to explain this whole modern UI thing to a 74-year-old that's never used a computer, let alone try to explain to her why we think her new machine won't connect to the wireless network. That's what I mean. At the end of the day, my wife drove 4 hours. We spent all day futzing around with a laptop that wouldn't work, couldn't get it to work, and mom ended up right back to square one. No internet or no laptop. No good deed goes unpunished. I'm Bruce Naylor. I'll talk to you later.